Paradiso Drinking Water. Located at Crabs Peninsula, we are open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Mondays to Fridays. We are also located on Lower All Saints Road, open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Mondays to Thursdays and 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on Fridays. On Saturdays, we are open from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Purchase your empty bottles and get your 5-gallon bottle refills at either of our branches. Paradiso Drinking Water.
It's time for Point on the Streets with your host, Vernon Springer. Vernon Springer.
Antigua and Barbuda, good morning and welcome to Point on the Street. And we're pleased to have two important persons in the studio. I'm normally talking to them on the phone, but last time I think I talked to Dr. Bird. It was like a long time ago. I almost forgot the date. But Dr. Bird is in studio this morning, and so too is Lady Powell. Good morning. Welcome to Point on the Street.
Good morning, Mr. Springer.
How are
and
you?
Good morning to your viewing and listening audience.
How's everything?
Well, thank you, and thank you for having us today.
Yes.
Yeah, we're getting ready for a very important time here, and we're going to have a discussion this morning about integrated health outreach. That sounds like a lot of words there.
Well, we keep it simple. We call it IHO or IHO.
IHO, yes.
Yeah.
All right, so give me an idea. Tell me what's happening. What's going to be happening over the next couple of days?
Oh, we always have lots happening over the next couple of days, but we have a specific program that we've come here to talk about, which is our biodiversity conservation project. And so most people, when they hear it, just sounds like a really big word and overlarge, but it really isn't. It's biodiversity is everything, including us, our environment, our species, our land. So we are our biodiversity. And so it's really important that we take care of our well-being and the environment well-being, and for people to understand what that means. And this particular project that we have, we're working to build a relationship between communities and the government. And the target of the project is the NEMA area, which is the Northeast Marine Management Area. And that stretches from Pebbles Beach to Mill Reef. So that's the whole north. And it's a protected area because of its diversity of species and habitat. And so it's very important that we protect it and preserve it, and that the community is participating. The great news about this project is that we've been already into the project for 2 years, and we've had a fantastic show and commitment from the people in the community, and the interest and investment of the community, and also the government ministries and departments working with the community. So it's been a wonderful exchange and collaboration to protect our environment and to safeguard our well-being, because the well-being of the environment is our well-being at the same time.
All right, so we're talking about the Northeast Marine Management Area stakeholders meeting, but you talked about the northern area of Antigua and Barbuda, Doc. How does sargassum now fit in all of this?
Oh, yeah. Well, sargassum is certainly a problem, and throughout the whole region. And, yeah, I mean, we're not...
I'm not trying to put you on...
No, you're not.
Yeah, but I
I
listen to all what you're telling me about here, and I know
right.
that is another area, because I think about 6 weeks ago, we did have a conversation with a group. I think it was out of the island, and they're putting in some work here. So you're coming to complement this now, but then we have another bigger challenge on our way, and we're into hurricane season also, and we're talking about climate change.
Well, they're all intersecting for sure. And we do have some, obviously, with climate change and all these changes in our environment, we do have serious concerns. So everything that we can do as nationals to protect our environment, such as improved waste management, because when that waste goes into the ocean, it obviously impacts the species. And so we want to reduce and be aware of our contribution or our behaviors that contribute to waste, and so we want to have not just national pride in terms of looking after the environment and how beautifying it, but also caring what happens to our habitat and our oceans by all that waste and the plastics going into it. So that's one behavior that we do have control over. And also, like you talk about hurricanes and storms, preserving our mangroves is very important because mangroves are a protective factor in reducing the winds and the impact of the hurricane. And we have had a loss of mangroves in the last number of decades. And so preserving what we have or even rebuilding is really important for our ongoing protection. So like, for instance, when Irma hit Barbuda, and they have their bees, for instance, and their logwood and the bees hives that were protected by logwood and tamarind trees, they were preserved. So our habitat is really important to protecting our even just the impact that it has on us. So and mangroves spawn species, and it's important for us to keep, of course, preserving what we have.
Okay. For the folks who are listening to Point on the Street right now, let's give us a background on integrated health outreach. Give me a background.
Yeah. So Integrated Health Outreach was formed in 2013, and it's a not-for-profit organization, and we're dedicated to wellness across all platforms. And so we work in social, emotional well-being, community well-being, women's well-being, environmental well-being. And a lot of projects intersect. So we've done projects to support sustainable livelihoods with focusing on women. So we've had a beekeeping project. We have a coconut reforestation project. As some of the sustainable livelihoods project that we have focusing on women farmers and reforesting coconuts, and that's been very successful. I'm very happy with, and these are sustainable projects. We also have projects that are dedicated to gender-based violence. We have two. We're actually at this point working with the Ministry of Transformation, and actually we go to that meeting now, working collaboratively in actions that we can do to address youth violence, gender-based violence, and address the matters that are happening now. So, and we have these environmental projects as well that targeted. So we do a lot across the board in these areas in terms of community wellness and environment.
So who's interested in health outreach?
A lot of people.
Yes.
Maybe Lexia, let Lexia speak.
Yes. Okay, so integrated health outreach, we've been around for some time, as Dr. Birdwood mentioned. However, the feedback has been tremendously amazing. We've had a few projects. We had one at the Antigua State College when we were speaking about biodiversity and conservation with the youths at Antigua State College at the Pierce Secondary School. I mean, after that period of time where we would spend with the youths, they would, even the WhatsApp group daily, they would say, hey, what are you guys doing? We're so interested to be a part of the organization. And then I reached out to Dr. Bird. I said, hey, Dr. Bird, we have to find a way to include the youths. And she said, you know what? Let's create an arm for the Integrated Health Outreach organization. And we gave the students from the Antigua State College the opportunity to name themselves. And we said, how are we gonna present ourselves? And they said, we want to be superheroes. We want to save our island. And I said, that's a great idea. So, and then one of the youths pointed out Power Rangers, we can be something like the Power Ranger, Pink Ranger. And they went on. And then eventually we said, okay, the Rangers, we established that name, the Rangers, but what else? And then we eventually came up with, we deal with the environment and biodiversity. That's what we're most focused on. As Dr. Bird said, biodiversity is everything, all living organisms, and they came up with the Nature Rangers. and which we have been doing great with it so far. A lot of young persons are interested to be a part of it. And Dr. Bird always had a vision for the organization. And she said, you know, we need to get more youths involved and more youth to be a part of something positive. And the feedback has been tremendous, and I am grateful for that. And the youths who are on board and persons who are interested, you can always message us. We have all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Integrated Health Outreach, or just type in IHO. And you can AB, and you can shoot us a message, and we will definitely reach out to you. We do have a very active social media page.
All right. So the communities that we're looking at is Fitchie Street, Parham and Barnes Hill, Freetown and Newfield, Willikies and Glanville, Seatons and St. Phillips.
Yes.
And you're reaching out to almost all the concerned citizens in
for this particular project. For this one here.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is a stakeholder meeting. This is our third stakeholder meeting where we brought together community and the different government departments who are supporting us, so that, and that's the goal of the project, which is called collaborative social accountability, which sounds like a really big, overwhelming term, but what it really means, very simply, is that in terms of protecting our environment, the voice of the people and the government working together collaboratively to find solutions, not to you're doing this and you're doing that and pointing fingers. We're saying, what are the issues that concern us? What service delivery do we want to see improved? How can we work collaboratively to find solutions? And that's actually what's happening. So we have been seeing, I feel that certainly in our second meeting when we had it, communities came out, government departments came out, government representatives, and so we're meeting at Parham Primary School, and the conversation starts. I remember initially you could see like the community feeling more tense and distrusting. But as things moved on, you could just see that change, you know, because now you're having the conversation, seeing what's happening on the ground, how we can work together, and seeing the sincerity from the different departments in terms of wanting to work to improve the well-being of the nation and the environment. And so communities doing their part, government doing their part, and that's the whole goal, to find solutions to problems and work together and hearing from each other and letting the people speak to what their concerns are. So we did a community survey in terms of the needs of the community for the service delivery in terms of protecting the environment, and because the government has made commitments to protect us, to take care of our environment, and which we really appreciate. And so how can we work together to bring this into reality? Because I mean, there's always so much, you know, there's so many needs, but of course our environment poses one of the most significant needs for us and to take care of. And so that's the goal of this, and we will have this ongoing. And by the end of the project in 2025, our goal is to see this as a sustainable model, that the groups are aware of what is social accountability and can work together continually in this collaborative way to find solutions to environmental problems.
Funding, where your funding coming from to sustain this?
This project is a regional project. It's funded by the World Bank. They're a department called the Global Partnership for Social Accountability, and also by the Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund. And it's being implemented regionally. Our lead is the Dominican Republic. We're partnered with them. And we're also implementing in St. Lucia, in Jamaica, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, and the Bahamas. So it's a comprehensive regional approach for conservation.
Let's come back to home, Antigua and Barbuda.
Yes.
And in the first stakeholders meeting, or a couple of stakeholders meeting, what was the main, what are you hearing? What are they saying? What is resonating to you?
In the communities, one of the big things was waste management, illegal dumping, especially in Parham, but across the board. Citizens are very concerned because it's impacting their environment. Like in Parham, when we first started the project, They had that area that led to their Parham Harbor, and beautiful area with all the mangroves, and people would just drive along the road and just illegal dumping. It was just, and it was going into the water. You could see mattresses floating down the water, like really, really horrible bottle. It was, and working together with National Solid Waste, it's been cleared up. It's being maintained. There will be monitoring. So that's one of the things that the community is concerned about across all platforms. That Parham, that's been started. There's been some funding was successfully achieved to start working on that. We're working to create signage to say this is a protected area. How can we keep it protected? So these are some of the things that the community is wanting to see. Better awareness, number 2. So waste management awareness, that the communities felt that there wasn't enough awareness about the importance of the environment, protecting it, and human actions and behaviors, what we could do as communities. So we brought in, so the first one, we worked with National Solid Waste Management Authority, and they've been partnering with us and really supporting us and very present, so we're really grateful. The second one, and then Ministry of Education came in. They're also participating as a partner. So we did an after-school program with peers, which Lexianne can speak about. And so from that, the community is saying, we want more awareness. We would like this awareness built more integrated into curriculum. So we work to work with the Ministry of Education, doing after school. We started with an after school program, which will be continued as well. Incredible feedback. We'll be doing some performing arts around it in terms of awareness building, so a lot of awareness building. Those were 2 of the main things at this point that we've actually not just heard from the community, but seen taking action, community and the government, to create the change. Of course, the Department of Environment is totally participating, because what we discovered is that people aren't even that aware of what is biodiversity, the importance of conservation, the importance of mangroves. And so for them, the more that we're building that awareness, and then we can see more involvement and participation, and that's what we have been seeing.
Before Lexi come in, I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the illegal dumping. Yeah. Because that seems to be a major problem.
Yeah.
And although the government would have put legislation in place for, we seem not to be catching anybody still. That when I drive around, that is a major concern. You know, I mean, people are like, well, you know, we just had a billboard here, but 2 days. In fact, if you look around, I think on a small scale for 100,000, the amount of money that the government has spent on in cleaning up some of these communities, and then when you turn off less than when those guys are finished, it just goes back to the same thing. So I'm saying, well, if I just clean this community, who is dumping? So nobody in that community recognizes that somebody just came and just put a bed and these guys, I know.
Right. So some of the things that are moving forward with some monitoring cameras so that we can monitor, more signage, and of course, like I said, more awareness building for sure. But there are I always forget their name. What are they? The
Litter wardens.
Litter wardens. They're actually, and so what we want to do, exactly, that's what everybody responds. So part of this project is to really get that to be more in place and action items. So these are and that's what the community wants to see. And we're, like I said, we're looking to find these solutions. So there is a hotline to report illegal dumping. And
not cutting you off, Dr. Bird
no, please
and
cut me
Lexi.
off.
the issue is, if you check, if you drive around on the side streets of Antigua and Barbuda, most of the dumping is either maybe from a construction site or somebody's. So I'm saying maybe the litter wardens maybe need to visit the various construction sites with him and ask conversations as to who you know,
I absolutely agree, Mr. Springer. Just to add, something that I would have seen firsthand. I was by my aunt, and the garbage guys came. I think it was like a bulk cleanup day, and they put everything in front. And then after the guys from solid waste, National Solid Waste, would have left, maybe 2 hours after, when I went back, there's a new set of stuff going back out, and that's after.
They would have just been there.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're gone to a different community, and then they have to come back there, and they're not going to come back unless someone reports it. So, I don't know. It's definitely an issue.
So, part of this is that in the area, there will be some camera monitoring. So, it'll be, Mrs. Springer, you look like you don't, you have no faith in.
It's not a matter of having a faith. My thing is that the government continues to expend all of these resources. Yeah. Let's look at the school system. Teachers decide they won't going back out to school until when they got cameras, until when they got security systems. Yeah. But the government can put all this technology in place. If I don't talk to say, I saw somebody of this vehicle to have report it to the police or whoever, then it's almost like nothing.
Yeah, but that's what we're trying to do. We're trying not to leave it at one stop. It's reporting. So signage, reporting, hotline, and getting people aware of reporting, because at least you can identify. If you can't identify who's doing it, you can't report. So the citizens and the community groups are building that awareness, and they're attending, and the communities are more involved and can participate in that reporting. So that's part of the awareness building, getting the communities to participate, knowing that there are resources. I think that there is a lot of that kind of feeling of helplessness or pointlessness, and that's what we really want to change. Like, we as citizens need to be very invested and involved and taking this very seriously and moving past our feeling of hopelessness and helplessness and pointlessness.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, Lexi and Dr. Bird, that you guys came, because we're going to end up in a situation where, I was just trying to just come to my news. I know something came to my timeline where, I think it's either in Guyana or someplace where a lot of dead fish just ended up in the beach. It comes on to what you're talking about, and we're taking it for granted that we can just dump everything in this water. Sooner rather than later, we're not going to get any fish. And that's just one. It hasn't happened here in Antigua yet, but if it's just around the corner from us, it's certainly going to be coming up sooner rather than later, because we don't know.
We need to know the importance of our mangroves too. Like, they're not just, you just can't rip them up, and they have a real relevance to our protection from storms. And we see early June the storms coming through this early, right? So we need to have that kind of commitment. So I think that one of the things, like I said, that I did feel happy about, and we're going into the second meeting, was that we did feel that the trust started to build
within the community.
And as we keep going, I think that makes a difference. When the communities feel that they can air their issues, concerns, that they're being heard, that there's actions being taken, how you can work together, it does change the feeling that, okay, if we do something, we're being heard, we can come back and meet if we're not satisfied with this. So the thing about this project, which I think is really important, is that we're getting past finger pointing, and we're saying, what can we do? Because all hands on deck for environmental protection and conservation. It can't just be the citizens or the government or this or that. We all need to be participating. So I agree that we have significant concerns and issues. We need to change our mindsets. And so that's what we're taking a stab at doing, and we're trying to start young people, getting them invested, moving forward, so that we can at least start changing the upcoming generational mindset about illegal dumping or negative impact that we have on our environment, to care about our environment. And I think younger people are more and more concerned, because it's a legacy.
All right. So, Lexi, anything else you think that you want to get out? Because there's so much information, we're bombarding the public that sometimes they might feel like, hey, all this information is amazing, because sometimes people like to say, oh, well, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You know, I listen to Lexi talking that they have Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
it's what people concentrate on, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes. And we do have a very active page. I mean, a lot of our content goes out to the wider Antigua and Barbuda, and the feedback is great because persons would even message the page and say, hey, how can I be a part of this initiative? For example, we had the Single Mothers Initiative for the food vouchers down at CMC, and we had the next set up by the public library. And up to this day, the Facebook gave us a message, and someone was saying, hey, when are you guys going to do that again? But just to speak on what's going to be happening on Thursday, 6th of July, 2023, we'll be having our stakeholders meeting at the Primary School. It's going to be from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We invite all the persons from the general public to come out to be a part of it. We really would appreciate everyone, because it's not just we're trying to do it. We're trying to do it. The communities are trying to do it, and we're bringing the government, relevant stakeholders to be a part of it. So we can, at the end of the day, we can come out with one common understanding. And it's not the government made the decision on its own, or IHO made the decision on its own. Everyone came. We brought the problem. We're trying to make solutions, and then we're going to implement things after that to see how best we can go forward.
Doc?
Yeah, no, I mean, the important thing is that communities know they have power, and we want people to feel that they can take action to make change and work alongside the government.
Yes.
So it's not one or the other, and we need that, you know, bi-directional working, that community, that collaboration to see betterment. And so it's a wonderful opportunity that communities have a voice and feel that their voice is being heard and actions are being taken. And so we're moving forward with, these are your concerns, we're hearing you, and we're taking it one step at a time, moving forward to see some change. And that's the goal.
Yes.
We can't have a revolution in a day. What we want is something sustainable, a continual kind of process that communities feel that they're always interacting, because otherwise you just feel you're over there complaining, government's over there
doing their own thing.
Nobody, you know what I mean? Nobody's feeling like we have. I mean, we're all together, right? We want to bring collaboration.
Who's the government, Dr. Bud?
Sorry? Yeah, we are, exactly.
Oh,
we are. We represent, exactly. There are people. But people don't think that way. It's like they're over here, the government is doing this, you're over here. It's like you don't realize, like, it's this is why this allows us to get past you versus me and them over there and we over here. We want to bring, like, exactly. And like, the government signs up for a lot of environmental policies, so the government is invested in protecting our environment. Obviously, they need to. So when the community is unaware, also the community is unaware of many of the things that the government is doing to support the environment and protect the environment, all the treaty, all the policies signed and the agreements signed. And so part of it is we make them aware, there's more awareness. This is what we've actually signed on to do, to invest it in the well-being of our nation. And so that understanding and working together means that we can make it happen.
Yeah. Doc, Lexi, I want to thank you guys very much. In fact, I'll maybe try and deal with Lexi and see if just before I'll make another spot again available so that we can create a little bit more awareness and remind folks about the stakeholders meeting on July 6th.
Yes.
We really appreciate you as always.
it. Yes, and he would have given his commitment that he will also be attending the stakeholders meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, provided
Love to hear your voice.
It's my birthday weekend, and don't push that one. All right, but I thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
And we look forward for working with you guys again there in a very big way. All right, so folks, remember, coming up, it's the Northeast Marine Management Area Stakeholders Meeting Workshop coming up on July 6th. You'll hear more details in our newscast on Point Express newspaper and also all our social media platforms. We're certainly working to make this a reality. This is Point on the Street. We take a Paradies of Water break, and when we come back after the Paradies of Water break, we'll be hearing from the Prime Minister